On behalf of my colleagues on the core committee, I extend my sincere gratitude for the continued support of all the stakeholders. Our immediate priority is for this disparate group of people to work in sync to overcome challenges and draw new pathways for the future of this wonderful business community. It's critical that the work we do, besides benefiting the group, also finds resonance in the larger business community outside. We hope to see the participation of many more entrepreneurs, particularly more youngsters who might be able to add a fresh dimension to our goals. This is a forum wherein fresh interfaces lead to new hopes for the future. Innovation has become an imperative for most organizations, and it can no longer be a skill practiced by a few people in a few places. It's a job for everyone every day. Change is happening faster than ever. New products, services, experiences are being launched at a dizzying pace. COVID-19 has also turned the world upside down. Any idea can turn into a good business. In this webinar, we will take a few steps back to better understand the context of the problem and the people involved. We got an awesome speaker with the fresh perspectives on inside out the mind of an entrepreneur to address us today. Let us extend a very warm welcome to our eminent guest speaker, Ms. Esther Indurkar, founder, Indian Board of Mind and Life Transformation, to this interactive business networking session. When we approached Esther to be a speaker today, without a hesitation, she accepted. For that, a big thank you to you, Esther, from this group. Esther is an accomplished TEDx speaker. She's a passionate speaker and a strong advocate of leading a purpose-driven life. She is a lifelong learner of human behavior. Her work revolves around mindset, thoughts, etc. She has experience in excess of 17 years working with first-time entrepreneurs, HR professionals in the corporate industry. She now follows her passion of bringing in a shift in the life of our youth and women by making them emotionally and mentally stronger with a positive perspective towards all the challenges of life. Her specialty lies in mindset transformation, peak performance, and empowerment for youth and adult alike. She believes that mindfulness in every sphere of life is the key to successful life, both personally and professionally. She has been among the top 100 inspirational speakers of India and the recipient of the prestigious Best Mentor Award. She has several affiliations to her credit: Maharashtra State President for Educational Policy, Maharashtra State Vice President Training and Development, Maharashtra State Chair Education and Empowerment, lifetime member Indian Society of Training and Development, member Professional Speakers Association of India, co-founder Indian Board of Mind and Life Transformation, founding member Indian Coaching Federation. Friends, put our hands together for the one and only Ms. Esther Indurkar. Esther's style, her knowledge of the topic, and her ability to engage the audience will ensure the attendees today walk away with several key takeaways. It will ensure that your attendance at the webinar today was more than worthwhile. With a diverse background, I'm sure today's gathering feels special because of our participation. And dear friends and entrepreneurs, I hope you enjoy the program and find it useful. I'm not going to make you wait longer. We'll let Esther take over and regale you with her astute experiences and fresh ideas. Thank you, and over to you, Esther.
Thank you so much, Haripriya and Gopi. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for that wonderful introduction about me. And thank you, everybody, for coming here because sometimes when we talk about mind, we feel that it is motivation and so we skip it. Because everybody around us is trying to motivate us. Everybody around is trying to tell us, be positive, do this, calm yourself. But we do not understand the science behind it. And that is why sometimes we take that motivation very lightly. So the intention here, Gopi, when Gopi reached out to me was not to motivate all you entrepreneurs. I'm not here to motivate you, but I'm here to share science-based facts that have helped me in my entrepreneur journey. Because when I completed my MBA around 17 years back and I joined a corporate job, I didn't have even one single friend who planned to start his or her own business. And so I worked in corporate for around 7 years when I realized that I had enough of having to work for somebody and I must start something on my own. This happened around 10 years back. And that's when I started my entrepreneur journey. Guys, if you all can switch on your videos, I would like to see you so that we can interact. share smiles when you say yes, oh yes, this is how it happens to me, or oh no, this is not how it happens to me, but that's how it happens to me. So let me see your reaction so that we can keep curating examples around it based on your expressions, right? So as I was telling you, around 10 years back, I started my entrepreneur journey. From then to now, I have 3 successful businesses, one of which works on transformative trainings called the Indian Board of Mind and Life Transformation, which works with entrepreneurs and corporates to help people work at their highest self. But to be very frank, this success was brought about after failing in 2 businesses miserably. And then came a lot of work on myself, a lot of understanding how I failed and why I failed. Because the strategies were very great, but still they didn't work. And that's what I share with everyone now, so that you can make the most of things that are in your control first before using different strategies, different marketing plans, different finances. And all those expertise is good, but the intention is that first you take control of things that are in your charge. So if you talk about entrepreneurship, there are many aspects of being a successful entrepreneur or running a company or building a business, maybe generating profits or making your dream goals come true, right? But in all this, there is a core. We're going to talk about the core today, and that's you and your decisions. Every decision that you take depends on how your core is, how strong it is. That's what makes you decide, should I take a safer decision? Should I take a more fact-based decision? Or should I take a decision which challenges me, but still I know that I can make it? And that's what decides the fate of your goals and your visions. Otherwise, we see that all of us start with a dream, but as our decisions keep changing, influenced by a lot of things around us, our goal starts getting compromised, getting shifted to something new. And the intention here is to make sure that that goal is not compromised, but your approach towards that goal is better and more sorted, and in a way where you're first in charge of your decisions. So that's what we are going to talk about today. So if you're ready, give me a thumbs up in your chat box. Let me see if you all are ready. Looking forward. Write your questions in the chat box, and we will take up all of them at the end. If you do not agree to something, write that also, because we need to address all of it. It's how we look at things. So I'm absolutely open to things which you don't agree, so that we can have a better conversation on it, right? So let's begin. Now, if we look scientifically, our decisions are 90% based on how you feel about the situation, and then how you feel about yourself in that situation. 90% of your decision is based on that first, and then comes your logic and facts and strategies. Entrepreneurs who succeed and do exceptionally well, it is because they think, they act, and view the world from a different lens from a lot of people who are dragged down by our worries. There are so many reasons why entrepreneur mindset is now picking up, why it matters more than before, because every other kid, every other youth, every other youngster who's worked in the industry for a few years want to be an entrepreneur. And so comes a lot of failure also. Every day there are thousands of businesses which are starting, and there are 10 times more than thousands which are failing. And then we say that it was because of the environment, it was because of the market situation, it was because of this didn't fall in place. And in saying all this, somewhere we forget that we miss on the decisions that we took. And why did we take it? Were there all decisions based on the fact that I will make my goal come true? That's the question that we need to ask. Now, so many reasons why an entrepreneur's mindset matters. For example, developing an entrepreneur mindset can help you to reduce your doubts, reduce your fear, your anxiety. It can also help you to drive actions, focus, and improve growth. So in short, if we talk about entrepreneur mindset, entrepreneur mentality, it's the foundation of your business success first, because that's mentality is going to make your decisions in a particular way. So today, let's explore how entrepreneurs think. And this today, when I'm going to be talking to you, I will talk to you, considering the time that we have, I will be talking to you about the best 4 or 5 things that worked best for me when I embraced entrepreneurship and moved towards success. So we are going to be talking a little science, but also my experience, how I used it to, create results and exponentially grow, right? Now, before I share that with you, before I talk to you about how did it work for me and what are the things that I used to improve on my entrepreneur journey, it is important that we understand a little bit about how we actually make decisions. Yes, we need to understand what goes in when we take a certain decision. And for that, let's have a quick look at how our brain was evolved. Let me just share this slide with you. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes? All right, thanks, Irvin. Now, if we look at the evolution of human brain, it all began around 7.5 million years back when humans were trotting on the planet. The only intention for them was to survive. They were at the lowest of their life chain. They were at the lowest of the life cycle, where there were predators who were hunting them. There were predators, and humans did not know how to survive. This part of our brain was called as the reptilian brain. I will quickly run through the facts, and then we will focus on the decision making. Now, this was the first layer of our brain which was developed, called the reptilian brain, which is still there at the base of our head, right? Now, the actions, the most important responsibility of this part of our brain is to be alive and to keep us comfortable. And for this, at that time until now, the action that they do is fight with an opponent or run away from the opponent. Now, in this scenario today, we don't have lions and tigers chasing us, but our situations, our life challenges, our doubts that are chasing us, and reptilian brain is still working to fight with that situation or run away from that situation, because its function is to keep us alive and comfortable. So it looks at completely our survival. How can we be comfortable? How can we survive? And so this part of our brain is called as the being brain. Now, this part of our brain runs on automatic. It comes out of our habits, the way we have programmed ourselves out of experiences. And so this part of our brain runs in automatic. We don't even have to think about it, but our actions come immediately based on this brain's function for fight and flight to keep us comfortable and safe. Now, as human beings, they were trotting and they were surviving like this, trying to save themselves. After many years, they started, as human growth increased and there were more humans, they learned the benefit of living in communities. They learned the benefit of building connections. They understood that if they are together, they are safer from predators. They are safer from a lot of discomfort and harm. And so the next layer of our brain was developed, which was around 2.5 million years back, called as the mammalian brain. Now, this was the time when humans were building connection. They were learning to live in tribes. They were learning to do things together and do a lot of work all together in communities and tribes. And because they were learning to live in tribes and communities, there was a chemical which was formed at this stage, which is the emotions. Our mammalian brain is the seat of our biggest and the most advanced emotions that we feel, the major being the 8 ones. And this is the part of our brain which takes care of our emotions. Everything other than fight and flight is taken care by our mammalian brain. It focuses on action. It focuses on progress, because this is where they were progressing and learning new skills. And so this brain is called as the doing brain. This part of our brain is called as the doing brain because a lot of action that we do every day comes from this part of our brain, which is also the seat of our emotions. Now they developed more. Humans understood that now they can have cattle, they can domesticate them, they can use them for work. So there was more progress. They started thinking how to utilize this connection, tribe, emotions, and progress for their benefit. And so around 10,000 years back, our third and the final layer of our brain was developed, which is called as the CEO of all brains. It's called as neocortex. We also call it as the CEO of all brain, which is here in our frontal lobe, right here. Now, this part of our brain is called the thinking brain. It does all the thinking from us. Everything that you think, every thought that comes to you, everything that you want to do ahead comes from this part of our brain. And that is why it is called as the CEO, because it does the thinking for us. Now, this part of our brain is the biggest chunk of our brain. It forms the 40% of our brain capacity. Our neocortex, the CEO of all brain, which does the thinking for us, is made up of 40% of our brain capacity. And the rest, the doing brain and the being brain, which is the mammalian brain and the reptilian brain, they both together form 60%. They both together form the 60%. Now, if we look at this evolution of our brain, we will know that we think a lot, right? So we clearly, if we look at this structure, we clearly see that the size of the brain, our neocortex, is 40% of our entire brain, and the other two together are 60%. None of the species, none of the animals have this brain. They only function on the remaining 60%. They do not have the 40% of our neocortex, and so they function on the remaining 60%, which is mammalian and reptilian brain. And so we as human beings, we have a superpower that is given to us. We can think what we want. We can dream what we want. We can set goals however we like, and we can look for what we want in our life and communicate with ourselves. Now, let me ask you, write down in the chat box, how many of us face this, that we have all the intentions, all the desires to do things in our life, big things in our life. We have all the intentions. But when it comes to doing, it is so difficult. How many of us? Give me a yes in the thumbs up if you have faced a situation like that in your life anytime. Yes. So clearly, we have been bestowed to think for our progress. If we look at this evolution, we have been gifted to think for our progress, right? But when it comes to doing, taking action, we miss out. So if, for example, we start something, we think and make plans, but when after some days, we go back to our old self. So many of us have broken New Year resolutions, right? So many of us decide every day, this is what I'm going to do today. I make plans, I put a diet chart, everything, but after some days, I go back to my old self. And this is because we are constantly influenced by our reptilian brain, our first layer, which is actively working to keep us safe and protected. Whenever we go on trying something new, it is a little uncomfortable for our brain to process it. And so the reptilian brain pulls us down, and because it is constantly working to keep us safe and protected. All those thoughts which come to our mind, oh, don't do this, doesn't look nice. Oh no, I can't do this. This is really unrealistic. Oh no, all the no's are telling you to get back to your usual self, because you know what will happen after that. And this is the doing of our reptilian brain. It is not bad, but it is trying to keep us safe and protected. And that's why we are called human beings. We are not called thinking beings. Somebody's audio is on. Can you please mute it? Okay, thank you. Now, we are not called doing beings, right? We are not called thinking beings. We are called human beings. Why? Because at the layer of our being brain, which is reptilian brain, which runs on automatic, that's the level where we can create mastery. If we learn to program ourselves at the being brain, we learn to create mastery for anything that we aspire to do. And that is why we are called human beings, not thinking or doing beings. We need to understand that most of the businesses fail or become stagnant is because of our thinking first. We want to do a lot of things. We have big ideas, but when we get to doing, our emotions tell us, no, you may fail. No, this is worrisome. No, this doesn't happen. No, you've not tried. You may fail. It's very risky. Don't do it. But if we look closely, right, most businesses fail because, or they become stagnant, is because of our thinking first and not because of lack of resources. We keep blaming the situation, the environment, which is not in our control. I totally understand. But we bring in all our reasons to the lack of these resources. We keep blaming situations, we keep blaming people, we keep blaming funds, etc., our sales strategy, our marketing strategy, and how things didn't go your way. But if we look closely, resource is never a problem. Because history tells us that the most successful people in the world, they rose at the bottom of their resources. Why? Because they were resourceful. Your resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. And what is resourcefulness? It's the mindset that you will carry. What is resourcefulness? It's about how you will make most of the situation on things that you have control. And that is why resourcefulness becomes your ultimate resource. We have to understand that 80% of our success is psychology and 20% is mechanics. What we do is we give the entire credit, 80% or maybe more, to mechanics, and the rest is psychology, which mostly tells us stop, stop, stop. And so we have to reverse that combination. We have to know that 80% of our success is psychology and 20% is mechanics. That's true in being successful at your job or running your business or in your relationship. That's true in your level of happiness everywhere. But am I saying that you ignore the 20%? No, absolutely not. You got to know the 20% because that 20% is going to give you the edge, right? Those strategies that you will build with the 20%. But you got to know the psychology. You got to master the 80% if you want to be on the top of your brain. But what happens? Most people, they settle in mediocre results. Because with their 80% psychology, when they every day come out of the house to create success for themselves, every day, their psychology meets with a bump, which are called limits. And that's what we need to shift to have the ultimate success. We need to shift that limits so that we create ultimate success. That's when your 20% strategies, which you will create, the 20% mechanics that you will work, will be in your favor. If we look closely, I've been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, I connect and interview a lot of people. And if we look closely, the biggest killer of entrepreneur mindset is not what you would expect. It's not failure. It's not the economy. It's not bad ideas. It's doubt. It's doubt in ourselves. It's doubt in our surroundings and our abilities. And doubt is the part of your limits that you have. Doubts kill many dreams long before any external factor can come into play. And this can be prevented when you master your inner game. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. If we want to create mastery at anything that we do, that means if we want to reach from thinking to doing to being brain, where your mastery is, we need to master our inner game. Now, what happens is most people are afraid to start pursuing their dreams. Or if they do start, they turn back at the first sign of struggle, convinced they don't have what it takes. That is why your thinking is so important to get right in the very beginning. I have failed and I have gotten up and failed miserably in 2 of my businesses. And that is why I can tell you that being an entrepreneur starts with that feeling inside you, that entrepreneur spirit you need to nourish and hone all the time. Whether you're an employee looking to level up your career or a 9-to-5 worker exploring how to become a freelancer or become a founder and CEO, or you're already one, when you master your inner game, when you master the entrepreneur mindset, you will begin to accomplish more goals than you ever imagined. Now, this is something that I want to encourage you. However, if we look at the facts also, every business sees times of hardship and difficulties, each one of them, whether big or small, right? Especially during a global pandemic. There will always be days where all seems lost. But if you think about quitting, please don't quit. Take the time to rest, recharge, and get back to your feet to try once more, just once more. Tenacity and resilience in the face of adversity are 2 biggest driving forces to succeeding in any industry. And both of them comes from your thinking. Both of them comes from your mindset. And so today, quickly, I want to share with you and look at how we can master this inner game, which is 100% in your control. After we master the inner game, then when you work on bringing the right sales strategies, when you work on bringing the right marketing plans, just 1 second, everybody. After you master this inner game, you will realize that every plan that you put across is in your control, however the situations are. So let's look at some of the things that has helped me to master my entrepreneur journey. And so let's talk about the very first one. So let me ask you, how many of us feel stuck at some or the other point in our life? How many of us? Right, give me a thumbs up in the chat box, or let me know, write to me in the chat box if you have ever felt stuck at some or the other point in your life. Yes, we all have, right? But the fact is that we are never stuck. The fact is that it's all about lacking momentum. And that's what brings me to my very first suggestion today that is going to help you to enhance your entrepreneur journey. And that is build momentum, build the momentum. Successful entrepreneurs are successful because they move in the direction of positive momentum. The more they succeed, the more they want to be successful. And the more they find a way to succeed. Similarly, when something is failing, the tendency is to get on a downward spiral. We go down. And that's why the question every time, why do rich get richer and poor get poorer? Now, rich here does not mean just in terms of money, but rich emotionally, financially, physically, mentally. We have observed that angry people tend to get more angry, right? Happy people tend to get more happy. How many of us have noticed this? We all have. Some people who are angry people, they tend to get more angry, more agitated every now and then. Happy people tend to get more happier. And we wonder how they are happy. It's because the momentum that these people carry. If there is no momentum, it's just knowledge. So the question, how to get momentum when it is not there? Any suggestions? You can speak up also. How to get momentum when it is not there? How can we generate that momentum? And the answer is, we follow the success cycle. We follow the success cycle. If you look at this figure, there are arrows in the clockwise pattern and they are self-feeding. They just keep feeding each other over and over again, right? You have these three boxes: potential, action, results, belief, and uncertainty. So if I can ask you, what is the potential of any human being? Please write in the chat box. What do you think is the potential of any human being? Infinity, yes. Any more answers? Eternal? Yeah. What is the potential of human being? Infinity, eternal. Okay, self-motivation. Potential of any human being is unlimited, right? That's what we say, right? Reaching greater heights, yes. Yeah. All these are things that will help us to come back, but the potential of any human being is unlimited. So let me ask you another question. If the potential of human beings is unlimited, do most people's results show that unlimited potential? Yes or no? Do most people's results show that unlimited potential? No, no, right? All the answers goes to no. Why? That's because absolutely no. Yes, we are trying still, but still we've not reached there. Every human being's, most people's results do not show unlimited potential. Why? That's because most people are not taking enough action. Okay, now answer this. Is it possible to get lousy results even with a lot of actions? You're putting a lot of hard work, you're putting in a lot of action, but is it still possible that you get lousy results? Yes or no? Easily possible. Yes. Yes, true. Yes. Many a times we put in a lot of hard work, but a lot of action is there. but we still get lousy results. And that's because it's not enough action to get desired results. If you see in this box, if we believe that it's not going to work for sure, right? No matter how much action you put, you won't get the desired result if you believe that it is not going to work for sure. So this belief here on the box affects how much of potential we tap, right? Belief is going to potential, right?
How much the balance?
Is somebody asking me something? Okay. This belief affects how much of potential we tap. So if we do not believe it's not going to work, will you use your 100% potential to make it work? No. It's that simple. So your action is little. It's not 100%. So if you use little potential, take little action, what type of results will you get? Lousy results, right? So now, when you get lousy results, look at the result box. When you get lousy results, what does it do to your belief? When you get bad results, what does it do to your belief? When you get lousy results, what does it do to your belief? It reduces confidence. Yes, you quit. Actually depends on character. Okay. Self-doubt comes in. All right. Yes. So if you use little potential, take little action, you're getting lousy results. Now, with that lousy results, your belief goes down on yourself, on the situation, on the scenario. So then it will say, see, I told you, there is a thought which comes to your mind, right? See, I told you it wasn't going to work. You should not waste your time. And so you quit, like Gopi said in the chat box, you quit. Your confidence goes down. You don't want to do that anymore. And so now, again, these are self-feeding boxes. So now, with lesser belief, you will use lesser potential. And that cycle goes on and on and on. And so we move in downward spiral. We go down. How do we change that? Which box do we begin? The simple answer is we work from absolute certainty or belief on yourself. As we discuss our points further, we will understand why. If we have time, I will show you a trick how to really see the difference only by working with absolute certainty. If you want to change into positive momentum, you need to start from belief. You need to change your belief, and that means you work on absolute certainty, whatever you're putting your head to. Now, I'm not talking about taking big decisions and just closing your eyes and not using the 20%. But I'm talking about the small beliefs that come and tell you, no, you can't do it. The small thoughts that come, oh, no, this doesn't suit my personality. Because that's again your belief that this is how your personality is, or this is how it should be. Start with simple beliefs where you say you cannot do something, or you say it's not possible. And then reason with them. Reason with them, because when you reason with these beliefs, you will suddenly start feeling, oh, I never thought of this. Oh, I can do. Sometimes what happens, we go to some gatherings and this and that, and we'll say, no, I will not do this. It is not, I don't know how to do. But then your friends force you and you do, and you really feel, oh, I didn't know I can do it, because your belief said you couldn't. But when you tried, you surprise yourself. And that is the reason why you need to challenge the beliefs which are stopping you to take a decision. I'm not saying all decisions are wrong. All decisions have to be positive. But when you're taking important decisions, where your decision is based on how you feel about the situation, or how is it possible or not possible, instead of relying 100% on the facts, use the 80% on whether it is coming because you believe or whether it is coming because the facts say so. One of the greatest ways to change your limiting beliefs that makes you doubt your decision is by the use of power of visualization. This one we will test at the end of it when we get some time. Now, we need to know that successful business owners have trained themselves to be certain or sure even before they know the answers. They first get into certainty and then find the answers. And that happens when you work on your beliefs, because this journey, this entrepreneur journey, the journey where you're leading, the journey where you are shaping your dreams and fulfilling goals, need extraordinary beliefs to fulfill your reasons to be doing the very thing that you're doing in the very first place. And so the first thing that you need to do is create an upward spiral, bring in the momentum by starting to work on your beliefs. The success cycle starts from absolute certainty. Most of the time when we approach a situation, we build a lot of strategies and then change the strategies because they're not working. Rather, start with absolute certainty. That's my very first suggestion for you today. Now, let me share the second one. The second important aspect of an entrepreneur journey that has really worked wonders for me is to break it down. If you look at the screen, this guy, does anybody know who this person is? No? Okay. This person's name is Roger Bannister. The famous story of world-class runner Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister was the first person to break a 4-minute-a-mile barrier. Let me tell you a little about him. Up until that time, no person had ever run 1 mile in under 4 minutes. To an extent, even the physicians had declared that running this fast was physiologically impossible. But Roger always believed that he can do it. And he actually did it in the year 1954. How did he do it? How did he do what looked absolutely impossible for the entire world? He used 2 approaches to get the desired results. First, what he did is in front of his running shoes, he put 2 slips of paper, which had written 3 minutes 58 seconds, 3:58 written on it. So every time when he ran and when he practiced, this piece of paper constantly reminded him of his goal. He was constantly visualizing his goal. We forget our goals, right? In the hurry-burry, in the rush, everything, we forget our goals. This is called the power of visualization. What did he do second, which I am here to share on our second point of break it down, is he broke his goal of 4 minutes into 240 seconds. As he ran and improved by seconds, his belief got firmer and firmer, stronger and stronger that he can do it. And so it did not allow him to give up. But the story does not end here. What Roger did was truly amazing. But what happened after that was beyond any doubt a miracle. Now, before Roger Bannister, no one else had ever achieved 4-minute-a-mile barrier. But within a year after Roger Bannister, 37 other runners did the same thing. And in the year after that, there were around 300 runners who ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. And now it's no more a barrier. What once world thought is a barrier was no more a barrier. If we look closely at this, each one of those runners had the potential. Their potential did not change overnight. Each one of those runners, they had the potential to run that fast. But it was not until their limiting belief was challenged by somebody like Roger Bannister that they changed their belief to an empowering one and achieved success. And if we take a simple example of break it down, if we see, say, suppose you are traveling with your family and you have a small kid in the car and you're going from Chennai to Pondicherry by road or by car, you might have observed that the little ones get restless. When is it coming? When is it coming? When will we reach? When will we reach? And they trouble us, right? They do, right? But what happens to us? We're reaching Pondicherry. We are very tired. We are very tired. Think, chalo, okay, let me cover this 5 minutes. Let me push myself more. And so you don't give up. You don't take a break. You don't stop. You give an extra push and challenge that situation and go ahead. That's what we need to do. Many a times we set a big goal and we are not seeing the progress because it's one big goal. You need to break it down into smaller milestones. Just like Roger Bannister broke it into 240-second milestones. Just like we see the milestones and we get an extra push that, okay, fine, only this much, let's do more. Let's finish it, because you can see the progress. A lot of our things we procrastinate because we get overwhelmed by our goal. If you break your bigger goals into smaller ones, you are always motivated that, oh yes, little progress is happening. Oh yes, little progress is happening. And when you start feeling that you're making very tiny little progress also, you look forward to make another tiny one. And then you look forward to make another tiny progress. And then suddenly you realize you've made a big progress. It's a matter of small ones, not just looking at, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do this, but there are no milestones. You will give up because our mind, our reptilian brain, its function is to keep us safe and comfortable. And if you're feeling uncomfortable and feeling like you're not able to do it, it will tell you to quit, because that's what is going to bring an end to that negative feeling that, oh, why it's not happening? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I should have done like this. I think I'm not capable to do this. So many down thoughts, one after the other. And it just happens, like in a loop. And that is why when you keep these goals into smaller milestones, when you break it down, you will see that you are making progress and you're enjoying it. You're not frustrated about it. That's what I did in all my 3 businesses. I used the power of visualization. I worked on absolute certainty on whatever decisions I took, and then made ways to it. And then I also worked on breaking my goals into smaller milestones. Because time just runs by, and then we'll say, oh, 2 years passed by. I will have to compromise my goal. It's not unrealistic, I feel. That's what we say, right? Oh, I think our goal is too ambitious. And so we compromise, we manipulate our goals. Don't manipulate your goals. Bring in smaller milestones and celebrate them. It's going to give you a lot of push. You won't get overwhelmed. You won't feel anxious. You won't have self-doubt, because you're seeing teeny tiny progress in your growth. That's my second suggestion to you. Let's look at the third one. Most of the time, we entrepreneurs find ourselves in this kind of a situation. If you look at this, most of the time, this is the situation that we find ourselves in. Now, for example, say suppose today you decided to buy a blue color car. When tomorrow morning you will go in the city, you will start spotting more blue cars. Suddenly, you will start seeing more blue cars than ever. Did the cars suddenly were brought into the roads? No, absolutely not. It's just that now your brain is ready to focus on the blue, and so you spot the blues more. When you wanted to spot the blues, your brain creates blind spots, and so it becomes difficult to look for other cars more than the blue ones. And so you spot blue more. It's just like when we say, where is the key? Where is the key? Where is the key? And key is right in front. But we can't find it because to our brain, we've already told, I can't find the key. And so it creates blind spots. Can't find the key, can't find the key, can't find the key. And so really we can't find the key. It creates blind spot. And that is why my third suggestion today to you is to work on what you are focusing on. When focus and physiology are strong together, they can transform your life, because focus equals feeling. If you're focusing on the closed mesh, just like this cat, you feel negative and trapped. But if you would have shifted your focus behind, all the three sides were open. You would have felt liberated. But what we do is we focus on a lot of problems, and so our brain creates blind spots and we can't actually see the opportunities, just like we couldn't find the key. Just like we didn't spot other colors more than the blue car. Closely, there are three decisions that we make every moment of our life, including this very moment. Every single second, we make three decisions in our life. First, the first decision that you're making right now, every moment of your life, is what you focus on. What are you focusing on? What to focus on totally affects your life. Are you focusing on the problems, or are you focusing on finding a solution? What you are going to focus on is going to make you feel a certain way, even if it is not true. So you can either feel trapped in a situation. For a lot of people, pandemic was a trap. But for a lot of people, pandemic was a way of generating new ideas and creating something new. What you focus on is going to make you feel a certain way, even if it is not true, because focus equals feeling. Focus is going to give you direction. So if you don't take control of your focus, the situation will take control over you. That's the first decision. The first decision that we make every moment is what you focus on. The second decision that we make every moment is the meaning that you're giving to your situation. Empowering meaning or disempowering meaning. And the third decision that you decide, that you give to every moment, is what you decide to do with the meaning that you gave to a situation. You have to be able to start focusing on the opportunity, and you will start finding opportunities even when they are less. We are so worked up as entrepreneurs of not making a mistake because it hurts us more financially, economically. Every aspect of our business gets affected if there is any issue which will happen. And so we are so focused on not making a mistake that we forget that there are a lot of opportunities that is going to give us the benefits. Because where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on will decide how you will feel, even if it is not true. If you focus on what you want, you see it as real and you feel it in your body. Your identity shifts. You walk like a confident person. And if you walk like a confident person to your client, they know that this guy is talking what he actually means, what he wants to give, because you're confident in your identity shifts. But I know that our mind is wired to focus on negative. It's from that part of our brain again. It's wishing to avoid something undesirable, and because your focus is on them, we start attracting that more. That is why it is imperative to shift the focus on what you actually want. What you don't want, you know. But how about shifting your focus on what you want more than what you don't need? We have to put ourselves in a state of what we want instead of what we feel. And then soon you will realize that you've become a person that just manages circumstances if you're only focusing on what you want to avoid. You enter into this journey to create things, but you suddenly find yourself just managing circumstances. And so you need to focus more on what you have. You need to answer for yourself. Do you tend to focus more on what you have or what's missing? Do you have a habit of focusing on what you can or you can't control? Or maybe do you have the habit of focusing most on the past, on the present, or future? If you're too much in the future, not focused enough on today, you won't enjoy what's happening to you right now. If you don't enjoy what is happening, it won't create a push to move ahead in the future. It's all related. What will make you a great leader, what will make you a great business person is your focus on the solution rather than the problem. Does that mean close your eyes to the problem? Absolutely no. You know it is there. But you need to focus on the solution so you make that work rather than worrying on the problem that this should not happen. That's my third thing that has worked really well. Every time a crisis comes, I ask my team, I ask my people, okay, fine. What are the options to make this work? That's my first question. Okay, fine, this is happening. How can we correct it? I'm just putting blinders to see how much opportunities are there for me to make things work, rather than listening to the bad news first. And that actually shifts our focus. Okay, fine, 3 options. Let's try our work on these 3 options. It creates blind spot towards the problem. And we find that we came out of the situation much better than we actually thought we could. And so work on your focus. Once you're working on your focus, the next very important aspect is to rewrite your story. What do you mean by this? Most of the time, when we approach a situation, we create a strategy. Then we bring in a story which says, oh, this was the reason we couldn't do. Oh, that was the reason we are not able to do it. And so based on that story, whatever results we got, we either celebrate it or feel bad about it. Now, the reason why starting with strategy does not work is that the story gets in the way. What's the story? The story is what you tell yourself over and over and over again until you feel certain. If you feel that a particular task is not doable, you will find answers to justify why it is not doable. And the reasons of why it is doable will fade away. So if your story says that this is the reason why it is not doable, this is why I couldn't do it, this is why I must have not done it, the reasons of why that thing was actually doable just fades away because the blind spots are created. Because your story says it's not possible, you won't choose the best strategy. The story we tell ourselves protect us from pain, agree. The story we tell ourselves protect us from pain. It gives us a reason why it is not my fault. This was the reason why it didn't go well. It gives us a reason why it is not our fault, because your reptilian brain wants to feel good, right? It wants to make you feel good. But you should know this, that the story that protects you, it also imprisons you from changing your performance, because your story is supporting your action. Even if it is less action. Your story it imprisons you from your growth. It stops you from growing. It imprisons you and affects your life. You have to find a story that empowers you. How do you do that? When you keep yourself in the center and everything around it is for your benefit. A story that strengthens you first. A story that will push you to perform at your peak. When a story is pushing you to perform at your peak, you will start focusing on opportunities. When you start focusing on opportunities, your belief gets boosted and you believe more. So you go in the upward spiral to create momentum. You need to be so aware that you're not buying into the limiting stories. The minute you start saying something is not doable, what is the reason that you're giving? You need to be aware of it. The story you tell yourself changes everything. You have to change your story to change your life. You will have to get rid of the stories of limitations and accept the truth of your unlimited capacity. We are human beings. We are human beings because we can create mastery, and no other species on the planet can. That doesn't mean that there are not real limitations in life. I'm not saying that. COVID was a limitation. But there's always a way to get past them, right? To work through them. When pandemic hit, my business was affected very badly, and it was because I was focusing on why now online business is not feasible. I was focusing, and so I had all the reasons to give, because I can't build a connection with my people, because I can't see them, because I can't hug them. So how will I transform lives? I created a story. I focused on why I couldn't. It took me 8 months to actually start accepting that I can work on this. And then the growth of my business was much more than what I was doing in the past. If you put yourself in a place where you have the right story, you will figure out the best strategy. Because our stories can literally shut us down. Once you build a story, you only find what you look for. And so rewrite the story in case it's stopping you, in case it's a story of limitation. That's what I did in my journey. And the last thing that I quickly want to share about how the mind of an entrepreneur helps, which is absolutely in our control, is the power of connections. It's the power of building authentic connections. My business, my 3 businesses, all of them are 100% organic. I get business, I don't reach out for business. And all of them are profit making. They're 100% organic, because when I reach to people, when I connect with them, I don't go with business proposals first. I meet them who I am, as I am. I build a relationship, talking about really cool stuff, like I was talking to Gopi about Madhya Pradesh, Jabalpur school, oil refinery. But it helps us to build connection, and you will see that when you now this community is an amazing community when there are so many people and you all know each other. Building authentic connections goes a long way. You need to build those connections. That's because suddenly when you build a connection, you build a trust. Human beings look for trust, right? In my case, my business is 100% organic, because I got so much business from referrals that many times I have to say no to a few of them. There is power in conversations that you make. Are you making genuine connections? Are you doing conversations which are heartfelt? Or are you just doing it for a particular reason to get a certain amount of result out of it? Sometimes just talk to people, no business talks. Connect with people, and you will see it goes a long way. And so build authentic connections, because that brings in a lot for you without you even worrying about it. And then you can use the rest of it for your strategies, for your other plans, and adding more to it. But make sure that you use the power of conversations to generate a part of your business which is organic, which is happily coming in, is happily staying for years together. I had recently gone to Malaysia for a speech, and there one of them asked the power of connection, and one of the mentor had some clients who were 48 years with him. That's the power of connection. They keep coming back to you. Once you need to build the trust, that's it. And that trust is not built based on how great service you do. Yes, it matters. The very first thing that matters is how you connected with the person. And then they look at the strategy. Even if they don't like the strategy, they will openly share with you, yeah, this is, I don't like this. Can we rework on it? And because the trust is there, they know that you will listen to them. You will do the best. So use the power of community, use the power of conversations, and connect with people authentically, heartfelt connection, where you know, oh, I can count on this person. Let me just send it to him. Let me send this and it will be done. That's how I do business. I don't spend too much on marketing because my business, 3 of them are giving me profits with referrals because they trust me. And all of us can do that, no matter what kind of products we are selling in the market. And so as I conclude, I want to tell you, use these 5 to thrive in your entrepreneur journey. Bring in an upward spiral, create a momentum by working on absolute certainty and on your belief. Break your goals into smaller milestones to keep giving yourself a push and performing ahead rather than stopping or quitting or letting self-doubt come in. Shift your focus because that's going to give you direction. Rewrite your story because you are the center of every story. If you put yourself in the center, you know how great it will work. And most important, build authentic connections. Because entrepreneurship is the ability to recognize the bigger picture. Find where there's an opportunity to make someone's life better. Design hypotheses around these opportunities and continuously test your assumptions. Entrepreneurship, it's experimentation. Some experiments will work, many others will fail. But when they fail, you will still be ready to get back up and get moving if you have a momentum which is built on your solid absolute beliefs. When you know that your milestones are very small and you need to reach them and you're already made a progress, when you're focusing on the opportunity, when you are in the center of your story, where everything looks doable, and you have a backing of connections. So when you will fail, you will still be ready to get back up and get moving. So I wish you all the very best. Success in whatever you're doing. Use the best strategies, use the 20%. But as you're doing this, also work on yourself, because that is one thing that never goes in anybody's control. And so try to use your control first and then depend on the others. And if you have anything after this question sessions, I would like to connect with you. I can share my LinkedIn here. It's in the chat now. Connect with me. You can reach out to me. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And for that, can I see you all?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Esther. I've listened to a few of your speeches before. I must say, you never disappoint. Your perspective is refreshing. Thank you very much for the stimulating and informative speech. Can we keep the floor open for questioning? Question answers, please. Participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions, please.
I would like to ask my thing. I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life.
Sir, sorry, I missed you. Can you repeat? I didn't.
My name is Vishwanath.
Yes, Vishwanath.
I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life, thanks to my parents who encouraged me way back in early 80s when entrepreneurship was not was not accepted. But my limitation, I generally find what limits Indian entrepreneurs is the social obligation that most people have. Unlike, because I have been in the West, in the US and all that. Yeah. We are sons to parents, husbands to wife, father, parents to children, and all this take a priority over your entrepreneurship journey. Yeah. It's very difficult to be truthful to oneself, spell out your aspiration, because as a social animal, the society expects you to fulfill many such obligations. And that, I think, is a limiting. This is number one. The second, I think what limits most people from going entrepreneur is they already have a good life. The opposite of a great life actually is not a poor life or a bad life. Actually, it's a good life. When people have everything going, then there is no fire, there is no josh to do something excellent.
Absolutely.
I just, these are my two comments. I just want you to expand on these aspects. Thank you.
I totally agree, sir. Our beliefs are formed from our past experiences, our upbringing, our culture. So, for example, if we look at any of the belief from our and other culture, it is okay for a teenager to move out of the house at 18. It has been expected. They have to leave the house in the US at 18 and should be. But somewhere our culture believes that it is so bad, it is so rude. Mothers, so I must say, mothers will be so sad if your son is turning 80 or daughter is turning 80 and moving out of the house. So yes, our beliefs 100% also depends on the upbringing, the culture, the experiences, the bad experiences also that we have gone through in our life. However, we can't change all. I totally agree with you. We cannot change all, but there are certain limitations which stop our a few which are stopping our progress when it comes to work. Probably in that, work on a few. We can't change all the beliefs. Like small superstitions, some believe on some superstition, some believe on some other superstition, and some do not believe on that. That's because somebody might have seen a cat crossing the road and something bad happened, became a belief, and now it stays with them. And for somebody, nothing happened, so the belief formed. It is based on the experiences. Not all beliefs can be changed into empowering beliefs. Also, because our brain is formed to keep us comfortable and safe. And so, a human brain gets around 75,000 thoughts in a day. And in those 75,000 thoughts, most of them are repetitive. So if a negative thought comes today, it will come tomorrow and it will come again day after, and it becomes our belief system slowly. And that is why we need to pick up, as we are growing in this entrepreneur journey, we will have to, look in our business, what is that belief that is stopping me to take a certain decision, and challenge them and try to see how that works for us. Because that's how I have moved around. Now the generation that we are living in, our youth is okay to say that, okay, I'm changing the city, I'm going, you do yours, we do your ours. But we were not brought up like that. So challenging that is not possible for us, but then making the most of what could happen in that scenario can be done. A lot of things just stay like that. So we can work on that to see the progress. Definitely, sir.
Hi.
Yeah, Arvind, please go on.
Hi. Good morning. Thanks
Hi,
for an
Arvind.
excellent presentation and session. I have a quick question. Currently, actually, I am working in a company called as Accurex in the board of management. We are in a particular vertical, which we have been doing it for past 35 years. So as a first generation entrepreneur, we want to actually look at other verticals where we can bring in new type of products into our portfolio. So what can be the three vital factors which we need to look at to bring in new products or new type of businesses into, because as an existing brand, we must ensure that this brand doesn't get drop in because of adding some new products. So what should be the three main key factors which we need to look at to bring in so many new products?
Arvind, the first thing, being a mindset transformation expert, I would say the first thing is to get the right set of people who align with your understanding, because they are going to believe in the plan that you're proposing, or the dream or goal that you have. Because if you get somebody who's too strategic, probably they will give you all the reasons why it will not work and why it will work. However, in somewhere down the line, because our brain is made to protect us, we will focus more on why it will not work. So you need to first have the people who believe on the proposal that you are getting, and then put in the right strategies in place. That is going to help you, to build a system which is based on making it doable rather than will it work or will it not work. There are two approaches, right? Whenever we propose a new product, should I make it work? I will make it work, or let's try if it works or not. If you have the people who are in your team who are saying that we will make it work, they are going to definitely find a strategy around they will make it work. But if there is a little bit in your team who's saying, let's see how it happens, then they have all the stories when it will not work. And so have the right set of people who align with that understanding. That's the most important aspect that you need to carry with you when you're developing these products. And the second thing is, then after that, build the story, build the strategy around it. You're going to go much farther and you'll see that results happen.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Most welcome.
Arun.
I have nothing. It's a very beautiful session, Esther.
Thank you.
Nice, fantastic.
Thank you.
Sanjay, Naresh, Ramesh, Monitor Ramesh. Prashant.
Yeah, hi. It was very excellent insight for us.
Thanks,
I'm
Prashant.
Prashant. I have a question to you.
Yes.
Like, you beautifully explained the way we need to overcome the problems, go ahead. The problem is when the person is in a situation, he is emotionally attached to many of the things. And, the most important crux is he has to detach himself from the emotions, the circumstances he is in, and then make a strategy. Can you throw some light that how he needs to get out of the situation and see it from a different perspective so that he can improve by himself? That is the greatest challenge, being in, you know how to swim, but when you are into the water, you will struggle, you will do so many things. But at some point of time, to get to know, with your experience, how, if you are in that circumstances, how you detach yourself and then start improving yourself. That is extremely important for everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely. Prashant, it's an excellent question. Now, we need not to detach with the emotion. We need to accept the emotion. That's the first thing. So when you are, you know how to swim, but when you're in the sea, you need to first accept that you will survive. You have to calm yourself, because the minute in the sea, you get controlled by the emotion, we start panicking. So we lose our breath, we lose the oxygen, we lose the energy in our body. And that is why a lot of people, good swimmers, also drown. So it's not about detaching from the emotion, but it is about acknowledging that, yes, this anxiety is there, but I also have control over this anxiety. This emotion of fear is there. Let it be there. Let it push me. But I also have an absolute amount of belief that I can work on it. Like, for example, say, suppose we all have seen old people in our home and they fall sick. When they fall sick, in certain times, they are so unwell that we have heard of these stories in different people's life, that the doctor says, now they will have to put in the work. They will have to believe on recovering. And many times we see that these old people, they recover from diseases, and some, they don't even recover at an age of 50, 60. Why? Because the ones who recovered used their willpower in spite of the fact that they were scared to lose their lives. And so willpower is a mindset. Willpower is a resourcefulness. It's not a skill. So detaching yourself from emotion do not come from any skill, but it is about training your mind that how can you accept the emotion. Oh, there are various techniques where we work on our emotions. So if suddenly something happened, the first is to break the pattern. Immediately when an emotion hits us, we panic. We say, what if? If you happen to see what if, just quit that and say, okay, fine, this is it. Now let me see how can I deal with it. Now, this doesn't happen automatically because we are programmed. So if you're 35 or if you're 40, You are programmed to think in a certain way. And so there is always resistance initially. But as you keep doing it, you form new pattern into your nervous system. And when you form that new pattern, slowly you start getting used to it. It's like the gym example. If any of you have experience going to gym one day is easy. Second day is a little difficult. Day the body is very sore. So we are under the influence of an emotion. And because it's uncomfortable, painful, we are under the influence of an emotion. But that's when a lot of people who give in to that emotion do not go to the gym for another 1 month because they say tomorrow. But the few ones who accept that, yes, my body is sore, it is hurtful, but the fourth day is going to be better, and they go to the gym, you really see people going to the gym regularly. They don't give up on the gym. It's about accepting the emotion and still strategizing things around your belief system. That's what helps, Arvind. That's how I did. I was into depression for 8 long years. My mother passed away and I was in depression for 8 long years. And I still feel that emotion. I can't get rid of it. But 8 years, I had stopped myself to take a decision that I can move forward. But after that, when I worked on myself, that I can still move forward and change people's life from my learning, I still have that emotion. I accept it. I accept the loss. But I have moved ahead after acceptance to the 7th stage of grief, which is making it into a legacy for myself and for my mother. And that's how I deal with that emotion. That's always given me a push. I gave a reason to that emotion. That's how we do it, Arvind. We can't detach ourselves. Because if we detach, it's like we are covering it up. We have to uncover. We have to know it is there. Have I answered you, Arvind?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Prashant, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Gopi sir, I want to ask.
Yeah, please,
Yes,
Sanjay.
So, madam, it was a very wonderful lecture. I mean, wonderful
Thank you.
session. And you had articulated in a very short span the gist of how to rewrite your own story. And especially the example of Roger Bannister, where he broke in the record in, I think, 1958, in 54.
54, yes.
54, and within 1 year, 37 people ran, broke the record, and next year, I think 300 people, so until then, even doctors said that 4 minutes is the barrier. So that is the, I think, power of visualization, wherein not only one person, because of him, all the rest followed, because it, so that collective influence is very strong. So visualization is not for the individual, but it's also as well as for the other people, who could also
Definitely
as a role model.
Definitely, sir.
And I was just, this is in a lighter vein. I was wondering, he has written, for his visualization, he had written 3:58 on each of his shoe, that is under 4 minutes. So I was just wondering, why didn't he write instead of 2:38 seconds? Since you have told him it broke it down on 2:38 seconds, he could have put it on both his shoes. It's in a lighter vein.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really don't know why he did that, sir. But to add to this story, Roger Bannister, if you search on Google about his story, you will find that he wrote 3 minutes 58 seconds. So he was ambitious that much, and he didn't want to probably keep it cut to cut. But to be very frank, when he completed the 4 minute a mile barrier, he finished it at 3 minutes 58 seconds, to be very precise. Because he was visualizing his success at 3 minutes 58 seconds every passing day. Just for example, like if you know Jim Carrey, we know the actor Jim Carrey, right? The comedian, Hollywood.
Yes.
If we look at his story, he had written a check of X amount, or which we will encash in so date a few years before he was living on the roads. And the date on which he had written $10 million check, right, sir? The date which he had written on the check, and with that, what he used to do is he used to go to Hollywood streets and behave like he's successful. He used to see himself as an actor. And whatever he had written on the check on the same date which he was visualizing, he encashed the check. This is a story of a real person who visualized. If you look at a boy who's called as Human Batman or something, I can share the name and Gopi will share with you. This boy was a blind boy. He had artificial eyes, but he used to play basketball on his own. He used the power of echolocation because he used the power of visualization to do everything on his own. He used to play basketball, ride bicycle. His story is there on my Instagram also. And people who didn't know he was blind did not know he was blind because he was as normal as new people, because he was using the power of echolocation. He used skills by first believing that he can do it. So he was visualizing playing basketball. So he passed away because he had eye cancer, but he's a very, very real stories that give us that. His name is Ben Underwood. If you want to search his name is Ben Underwood, who used this power of visualization. So yeah, it's how we set what we want to. For me, I visualized myself being applauded on the stage and coming on a TEDx speech. I visualized my son and husband in particular dresses, what color and all, and it actually happened. And when it happened, I was like, oh, this is what I had seen. This is what I had imagined. So yeah, it really works wonders. And then we are in sync with that visualization. Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, just adding to Vishwanath sir, what he asked, a very good question regarding the cultural aspect.
Yeah.
Cultural and emotions and how. So I think you are also right. I mean, in the sense that we have to work within the system. We can't overnight change the people. So we have to, it is the transition. I think change lies on the individual. So, I mean, you can rewrite your own story. It's not necessary you can change others. I mean, that
is why, sir, the change. Yeah, the change which is in our control is what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's all.
Because no matter what we try, people won't change. No matter what our expectation is, they have a different perspective towards it. So what is in our control is what we need to work on.
Yeah, and not only that, it's not only the culture. It's actually what happens is when an individual tries to change, there is a lot of resistance offered by the same system.
Yes,
it's not about that they are getting changed, but that individual, since he dares to change, so let's put him down. So that resistance that individual has to take care of.
Yes, absolutely.
So otherwise, madam, it's a well-articulated session.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Very inspirational. Thank you, madam. And thank you. And thank you, Gopi, sir.
Welcome, Sanjay. Pleasure. Rajendra, any questions from your side? Ramesh? Raghu?
Sir, it was a pretty wonderful session. Very, you can say, definitive kind of a thing on the subject, like, and it gives a lot of actually resources. While there is a lot of struggle across this entrepreneurship stuff, this kind of session really helps moving ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else has a question? Annie?
I just want to congratulate Esther. What you're doing is a great service.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's beyond business. You don't call it business. It is about serving the society. Actually, you're doing. I feel what you call as business is actually the result or resultant of your effort. That's all. I mean, good.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Please keep it up because we need more people like you to guide us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great session. I really liked it. Loved it.
Thank you.
Haripriya, do you have a question?
No, I'm very clear about it. Like whatever she has said, it's very nice. I like the word she says, stories, because the facts have been surrounded by stories, So the fact is one thing, we surround that with a lot of stories. It's a good thing. It's kind of eye opener. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. This is Ramesh from Audit Pro. It was
Hi,
such a
Ramesh.
wonderful session, like as everyone was telling. So I was just thinking, like, you are like a spiritual guru motivating about psychological and, especially on entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for motivating us. My only question is, you talked about the power of visualization, which is 100% true in my personal way. Wherever we visualized, we have been successful. The thing is that, the power of visualization, how big is the visualization? Like, that's what the challenging aspect. Okay, everybody visualizes, but how big is the visualization is what the defines one person to other person. Like, can you throw some thought on that process?
Yes, definitely, sir. Now, I will share my own experience. My visualization was first to be a TEDx speaker. And when I started working, of course, I used the broke it into milestones, worked on it. But how big it is 100% your choice. It is 100%, but whatever you're visualizing, you absolutely can achieve it, but how are you going to approach it is what you need to work on then. Because if action is missing, faith without action doesn't work, right? So if you're visualizing and you are 100% in sync with that visualization, it will work. But make sure that there are steps that you have created to reach there, because you need to put in the work. It's not the size of visualization. It's how you will put in the action to what you're visualizing to make it true. And so that goes hand in hand. Because a lot of us have dreams, right? We keep dreaming, but if we don't have an action plan to reach it, mostly by the end, we find a lot of people ending up not living a happy life, or they are somewhere regretting, oh, if I would have done this, I would have reached here. Oh, if I would have done that. It's about putting in the action to whatever you aspire to be. That's how I look at it. That's how, now it could be to anything, the smallest challenge in your work or the biggest thing that you're already dreaming. But please add the right action plans to it. Size of your visualization. Your dream is your dream. You've been born to dream. We are human beings because we are made to master whatever we want. So there is no limitation. Sky's the limit. Just.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.
NSM sir, Major sir, any questions? In fact, Arun had just posted a message in the group asking for a book reference. Yes, sir, Major sir, please.
Lot of case studies, anecdotes, and I particularly like the PowerPoint. The visuals is funny, and for fiction, tonality, and the powerful expressions that Esther had used. Simply awesome. I also like the Roger Bannister's example. Very powerful session. Thoroughly enjoyed. Esther, so kind of.
Thank you. Thank you, Major. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Major, for joining us. NSM, sir. Arun, you had posted a message in the group, right, Arun? You want to ask her?
No, I think I just thought, I think your pattern was very good. I think, is there any book references or recommendations for further reading on the same topic? Very interesting way.
Yes, there is one book which is very famous, The Power of Subconscious Mind, which is like a handy book for a lot of us who, talk on mindset. It's about day to day how we use the power of our subconscious mind into action. Then there is another
by Joseph
book.
Murphy, right? That one was.
Sorry?
By Joseph Murphy, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Then there is one book by Sir John Margrave, I guess. It's The Mind Hacking.
Okay.
Yeah. they are good books. There is another book called Think Straight, pretty new, Darius. It's a fun book which helps you to realize, oh yes, this is what I do. Okay, fine, this is how I will work on it. So it's like more of a fun for every age, good book, which is Think Straight. So these are some of the books that easy to read, even if you're not into neuroscience and all, but it really makes sense.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Any question, Raghu?
Not really, sir. Thoroughly enjoyed the session. But my probably something that is, surfacing in my thinking right now is this all subject related to NLP, or NLP is slightly, a parallel subject? Yeah.
It was related to neuro-linguistic programming also. It's also about mindfulness in the being in the now, sir. And yes, I am a master neuro-linguistic programming master trainer. So a lot of the tips and tricks that I use, the anchoring, mirroring, all the activities, that is mostly around neuro-linguistic programming, because it gives us a flexibility based on our situations. So yes, and I also use these through power of attraction, the law of attraction. So there are 3 aspects with which I work, which is neuro-linguistic programming, mindfulness, and law of attraction.
Okay, thank you.
Pradeep Chand, you have a question? Pradeep or Anbu? Anbu is from Singapore.
I'm just listening. Nice. NLP is one area I'm interested, but it's very nice to adding more thing to it. It is really working well, because NLP need a lot of practices to master it. But adding like power of subconscious mind and mindfulness, it will enrich that process. Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else has a question? One last question we can take, I guess.
Just Gopi sir, one small thing I want to ask her.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Because you mentioned that you are also an NLP master trainer.
Yeah.
Basically, what is understood is that the affirmation and visualization, the difference in the affirmation, you make a statement and you keep repeating on it, and you can associate a positive emotion to that. Whereas in visualization, it's little much more, because you involve more parts of your brain, more emotions, you picture, image, this, that, and all that you can put it. So, and finally, both work on the same, I think, Joseph Murphy's principle, that is repetition at the neural level. How many times the your affirmation or visualization is crossing the neural pathways and associating itself with the emotions, chemicals, that's all.
Yes.
So
Yes.
ultimately, it comes to basically nothing but repetition.
Yeah.
And this repetition becomes the belief. That's all.
Absolutely.
And once the belief comes, then the success cycle, virtue cycle starts. What you actually show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. So all
Yes.
NLP actually ultimately is repetition. Finally, it comes to.
Yes, it is about creating a habit loop around it. So it's like if there is one neural pathway, when to create a new one, we need to keep repeating it a couple of times, because initially it brings in resistance. So both of them are the same. Affirmations work great. Now, human beings accept information through different 5 senses. A lot of us are visual people, but there are a lot of people who are more auditory. They understand things when they're listening more than seeing. So affirmations work great for those people in the very first place, but definitely it's all about the repetition and creating new neural pathways.
Yeah, affirmations are like shorter mantras. That's all.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I go ahead? So since you were talking about law of attraction, okay. So if 2 people use the same law of attraction to attract something which is finite thing, for example, say in the entrepreneurship, I'm in the commodity trading, somebody else, my computer is also in the commodity trading, and we are thinking this has to happen, okay? So like who wins and how, like, because we are going to fight for the same thing and we are going to have the same of attraction. So how can we make it work if the winning is on my side, if I'm supposed to win?
First, it depends on the intensity with which you are visualizing and affirming and attracting it. Haripriya, right?
You're right. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. So it depends on the intensity with which you're doing. 100% control, if you really, really deeply want it, the intention with which you're going to be attracting it is going to be always as much as you want it. So it depends on that. We don't have control on the other person, how they are attracting it or what they're attracting it. And that's where the game of the action plan that you put towards it, because you 100% believe it that you're going to get it, you're already celebrating it, you're already putting in the work, because you've already visualized it and you're believing that it is going to come to you. So the work already starts happening in the direction of that you've already got it or you already achieved it. So that starts to, build on that intensity with which you're attracting. You already are experiencing it. That's going to bring in the change in the action and all that you put.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Sangu wants to know if you have any case studies with you, Esther.
Case studies on what, sir?
Sir, Anbu sir, you can please unmute and ask sir. No, about some remarkable changes that you brought about.
Yes, there are many cases. I can always share it, Gopi. I can send it to you.
Sure. Yeah,
you can
sure.
always go through them. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Then, okay. See, we have, I have a former colleague with me from Pune, Ms. Annie Joseph.
Hey, Annie.
Annie will get connected with you offline.
All right.
Yeah. Annie, you want to say hi? You can say hi, Annie.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, Annie.
The program was great. I heard you are from Pune.
Yes.
So we can probably connect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Thanks, Annie.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Well, sir, I think we held you for a very long time.
It's an absolute pleasure. No problem, Gopi, at all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
as
very much.
long as I can bring some value, all worth it.
Thank you.